The name Mega Man is synonymous with gaming, not just for those who grew up in the 8-bit era, but also for those who did not. Hello gamers, this is Eddie, and today we're gonna highlight why Mega Man is one of the greatest franchises in the history of video games, and why it's so special even to this day. All this and more in a brief history of Mega Man. Let's get started. It all started when Capcom wanted to expand into the home market. They already had a few arcade ports on NES, but they needed a hit franchise for the home consoles. This task was assigned to a small team, but there was one team member in particular that is known as the father of Mega Man, and his name is Keiji Inafune. But the real designer of Mega Man is Akira Kizumura. They gave Inafune a basic concept of Mega Man for him to clean up. When Keiji Inafune started working as an illustrator with Capcom, he had already worked on the original Street Fighter. He was in charge of designing characters and other assets in the game. Inafune was very specific about creating characters with detail and specific qualities, and back in those days, the limitations on the NES made this task extremely challenging. One big example is Mega Man himself. The only reason Mega Man was blue is because of the limitations on the NES color palette. The blue color had more options on the NES. Another example is that each game usually has 8 Robo Masters, but in the original Mega Man they only had 6. This was another limitation on the original NES game. Another important fact is that Mega Man's Japanese name is Rockman, a reference to rock music. Even his sister is called Roll, like rock and roll. Other characters have music references as well. Capcom almost named Rockman Battle Rainbow Rockman because he was able to change colors when he selected different weapons. But copyright issues prevented Capcom to do so because there was a TV character with the name Rainbow Man in Japan. Thank goodness. The American version of Mega Man had one of the worst cover arts ever created. Just look at this. It looks like a little kid did the cover. They also added a gun on Mega Man's hand instead of the Mega Buster, and to add salt to the injury, they made the same mistake again with the cover art for Mega Man 2. The plot in Mega Man is also very simple. In the year 2000X, robots developed to assist mankind are common thanks to the efforts of robot designer Dr. Light. One day these robots go out of control and start attacking the population. Among them were 6 advanced robots made by Dr. Light for industrial work. Cutman, Gutsman, Iceman, Bombman, Fireman, and Elicman. He realizes this is all part of a plan from his old rival Dr. Wily to take over the world. His helper robot Rock offers to be converted into a fighting robot to stop Dr. Wily's plan, becoming Mega Man. Mega Man is a side-scrolling action platform game. It was a no-brainer choice for Capcom to do this because platform games dominated the market on the NES. Mega Man was different from any other game in the market, and all this was because of what I mentioned before. Inafune wanted to make characters with detail and specific qualities to bring them to life, and that's why the Robo Masters are very important in this game. One characteristic that made this game special was the choice given to the player of which Robo Master to attempt first. You have to discover the path and sequence on which Robo Master to defeat first. Once the Robo Master is defeated, you acquired his weapon that at the same time is the weakness of another Robo Master. Mega Man was a difficult game, but the game mechanics were simple. The player had to fight through the levels using Mega Man's Mega Buster, a cannon attached to Mega Man's arm. The other mechanic was the ability to jump. The game might sound simple, but it really wasn't. Mega Man originally had the ability to crouch as well, but it made the game way too easy, so it was removed. Stages in Mega Man are designed with their Robo Masters in mind. Even small enemies have similar qualities depending on the level you choose. For example, if you choose Fireman, his stage and enemies will all be based around fire. Every stage in Mega Man has unique challenges from obstacles to small enemies. Every jump has to be precise, and in some cases, reaction time is not enough. After dying several times, I found myself memorizing each level. When you get to the end of the level and you defeat the boss, it is honestly one of the greatest feelings in the history of video games. The other cool mechanic is that Mega Man can get each Robo Master's weapons once they are defeated, using them later in different stages and as weaknesses against the other Robo Masters in the game. Each RoboMaster has their own attack pattern, special weapon, and weakness. This is what makes every one of them unique and full of personality, and that is what Keiji Inafune intended for since the beginning. Even the music is tailored to every specific RoboMaster, and I will tell you guys that the Mega Man soundtrack is legendary and still has the record to this day of one of the best video game soundtracks ever created. Mega Man was not a huge success in America, but it did do well enough to receive a sequel, Mega Man 2. This game is the best-selling Mega Man game in the franchise's history, and on a personal note, it was actually my holiday gift back in 1989. As gamers, we need to understand that games like Mega Man set the standard for a lot of games that we play today. We have to look back at the limitations these developers had and how they were able to make a gaming icon that still holds life to this day. The rest is history. Mega Man has been in more than 100 games through different consoles and different spin-offs and features, and now with the upcoming Mega Man 11, the Blue Bomber is back for the old generation and the new generations of gaming. What are your memories with Mega Man? Does Mega Man deserve to be regarded as one of the best franchises in history? Leave your comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe at The Gamers Next Door on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. This is Eddie signing out, and as always, happy gaming.